Welcome to Manifested Publishers.
Lesson. My name is Stephen Karyungi. We are going to continue with what we are learning about kingdom fungi. Last lesson, we learned about the examples of kingdom fungi. We saw examples such as rhizopus mold. We saw examples such as mushrooms, yeast. All those are examples of fungi. We also went on to look at the characteristics of the kingdom fungi. And the first characteristic we saw was that a fungus is made of a basic functional unit that is called a hypha, whose plural is hyphae. So today we shall continue with the characteristics of kingdom fungi. Welcome. So we are going to go to characteristic number 2. Kingdom fungi, characteristics. So our number 2 characteristic is that fungi are eukaryotic. Eukaryotic is the term that we saw when we were learning kingdom Protoctista, the earlier kingdom. So we say that the word eukaryotic means that has a nuclear membrane. So even the members of kingdom fungi, they have a nuclear membrane, and therefore they are eukaryotic. Eukaryotic. So the word eukaryotic means that the fungi have a nuclear membrane. That nuclear membrane encloses the nucleus. Now, the next characteristic is that the fungi also have a cell wall, but unlike the plant cells, where the cell wall is made of cellulose, in fungi, the cell wall is made of a substance that is known as chitin. So they have a cell wall made of chitin. So the cell wall in fungi is made of chitin. Now, characteristic number 4 is that if you observe things like the mushrooms, some are brown, some are cream, some are white, you find that the fungi, they lack chlorophyll. They do not have chlorophyll like the plant cells. So for that, they cannot carry out photosynthesis. So the fungi lack chlorophyll. That means they are not green, and therefore, i.e., cannot carry out photosynthesis. They cannot make their own food. So in other words, that explains why most of the fungi, you'll find them growing on bread, on food, because they cannot make their own food. Another characteristic of kingdom fungi is that they have rhizoids. Rhizoids resemble the roots, like the roots of plants. But for these ones, we don't call them roots, we call them rhizoids. They have rhizoids for, 1, anchorage. Anchorage is support, so that they can support themselves onto the substrate. They are growing on something, so they are able to support themselves using the rhizoids. Number 2, rhizoids also help in absorption of nutrients and water from the substrate. They are able to absorb water and also nutrients from the substrate. So basically, that is a fundamental feature of the kingdom fungi. Now, The other thing that is also worth to note is in terms of their mode of reproduction. How do they reproduce? So characteristic number 6 is that most fungi reproduce asexually. So no gametes. So we can say that most fungi reproduce asexually without the use of gametes. Asexually through a process called sporulation. Sporulation means spore formation. They form spores. So that process by which they reproduce by formation of spores is called sporulation. However, it's also good to know that we have a few fungi that reproduce sexually. Yeah? We have a few that reproduce sexually, but we are saying that most of them reproduce asexually through spore formation or through sporulation. So we can also mention that under the same point. However, a few fungi reproduce sexually through fusion of hyphae cells, the cells of the hyphae. They can also fuse. So when there is a fusion between different cells, that is sexual. Where there is no fusion, that is asexual. But we are saying that mainly most fungi will reproduce asexually through the process that we are calling spore formation.
Welcome to Manifested Publishers,